jumps out for you, we can just pull from those words too.
I think it's a mission.
It's a mission, okay?
Gospel-centered.
Gospel-centered. And I'm going to push you there. What does that mean? Gospel-centered.
I think that you're rooted in the gospel, rooted in the mission of Jesus Christ.
Okay. What is gospel entrepreneurship?
Risky.
Aha! Risky. Nice.
Innovative and creative. Ooh.
You know, creative is a great word because it takes us back to Genesis, doesn't it? God spoke, and then that speaking, that word brought into being new life. If we can't speak it, if we can't see it, if we can't hear it, if we can't envision it, then it doesn't have the power, God's power, to come into being. And I think gospel entrepreneurship requires us to risk that creative energy to speak new things into existence. What else is gospel entrepreneurship? Yeah.
I'm going to build off of Brianna's. I think any entrepreneur is going to end up, over time, articulating a business model. Right? So, and if we stay with Hill's working definition that entrepreneurship is the means, it's not the end. Even if faith is the end, right? To be a gospel entrepreneur, faith must specifically inform the means as well. And I see that as distinct from the historic idea of business's mission. The historic idea of business's mission is, I'll do any business, I don't frankly care what the business is, it'll get me into Egypt, started selling plumbing supplies, and then when I'm there, I will evangelize. So the business model, faith was irrelevant to the business model. It was just it was the Trojan horse so that you could evangelize.
Right.
So what I'm saying is gospel entrepreneurship is faith informs the means as well as the ends. And I think that's where gospel entrepreneurship is different from the classical notion of business's mission.
And what's the mission of business without faith? What is the mission? I mean, yeah, right? The mission of business without faith is profit. And so profit will push you to cross over those lines of what our faith calls us to be and do, right?
Well, I'll use Shanta's frame and I'll challenge that because I think we sometimes over-assume that unless it's faith-based, then the purpose of the business is profit. That's the purpose of certain types of businesses, but there are certain types of business models. Every business model is looking to maximize something.
Yeah.
The question is, what is the thing that it seeks to maximize? And there are certain business models where it's not maximization of profit. It could be maximization of access. So the classic example of that is 1970s food co-ops. Those were not profit-driven businesses. They were to get access to granola. So I think in the faith community, we need to be really careful. I think Joel had mentioned this earlier. Like we sometimes Satanize business. There's lots of businesses out there that are about maximizing something other than profit, and it's a mistake. We misunderstand the broader purpose of businesses. We minimize them to just the maximization of profit, which I suspect will be part of what Brian will talk about
Right.
in his own way.
Yeah, so our relationship to profit as gospel entrepreneurs is sort of a tricky one, right? Profit and something. I like this, what are we maximizing? That's a really great phrase. And profit might be an outcome or part of it so that what did Joel say? If we're in the black, that means we can continue, I'm going to use my words, we can continue our ministry or our work. Our calling is still there if we're in the black, right? In other words, we're still engaging and we're still effective. So it's a tricky relationship.
Yeah, and to kind of ride the wave of that, there are the terms entrepreneurship, which does not necessarily tie to profit per se. It could. Entrepreneurship is kind of an approach to doing a thing that incorporates some of the adjectives that we have there, the creativity, the innovation, the risk, the stepping out on edge, and not doing things in necessarily the traditional way because it's what's been done. So when we apply that to the gospel, we're saying that in the gospel-centered, kingdom-building realm, let's apply that approach of entrepreneurialism, the innovative, creative, step out of the box, let's get out here and try something new way of doing and building the gospel and building the kingdom. And there should probably, if you're going to be sustainable, should be some profit element to it so you can continue to do the mission.
Great. So we'll keep poking at this question. Thanks for engaging. And we will move now to our next piece, which is a look into the power of being mission driven by John Dana. Are you ready to go?
I am.
You want to introduce it?
I shall introduce